Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. This is part 2 of our previous message that I put up this morning. I just wanted to expand on our study today. This will be done for our men because, matter of fact, just about everybody that watches my channel are of the male gender. So guys, listen up. We are vulnerable. That's right, we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable by the way we are created, by our very nature. So I'm going to explain this out a little bit so that it will better help you run from the temptation, to run from the destruction that it can cause. Because we're talking about some of the greatest men in history have fallen to a woman, or because a woman have talked them into doing things. Some people say that's why 90% of the wars that humanity have fought against each other were because a woman wanted them to happen. Dear king, please go and wipe out so-and-so. They are trespassing on my king queendom. That type of thing. So, in order to know when the temptation is coming, you have to know the things that make you fall. Some, it's a certain color. Some, it's a certain shape. Some, it could be even just a wink. And that can drive a man sideways. King David was on the rooftop of the king's house, his house, for an early morning stroll, and he looked over and he saw something that he couldn't take his eyes or his mind off of. And that something haunted him until he had it. Once he had it, he ended up committing adultery and getting someone murderized on the front lines of battle. An honorable man who didn't even want to go back into his home while his soldiers were out in the field fighting. Even though the king called him home, he was in the same town with his wife, close to his home. He would not go in his house because he did not want to betray his men's trust. He wanted his men to have the faith in him that they so should have. He was so much of a better leader than our people today. Heck, we got men that were dying in the battlefield, and our ex-president was out there playing golf. That tears my soul up every time I think about it. So, we're looking at a man with a lot of honor, and his own king betrayed him and had him murderized, put on the front lines of the battle so that he would be killed. And keep in mind, his king was God's king. His king was chosen by God, was propped up by God, and loved by God. But no man is perfect. No one is above the fall that is sin. From all the way back to Adam, when Eve talked him into eating the fruit off of the tree, she was tricked into eating the fruit by the serpent. Once she ate the fruit, she gave it to Adam to eat, and then they both knew they were naked. Now, there's a lot, like I say, in that whole storyline that I would like to know, because she had the knowledge before he ate the apple, before she asked him to eat the apple. They were there together. She ate it first and then he ate it second. So she knew things before he knew things. So that there had to be a little bit of trickery just in the act of her asking him to eat the fruit. And then you go over to Samson. God bless Samson. He was a strong man, but he fell for the woman he loved. He could not stand for her to be unhappy. And it made her so unhappy that he would not tell her the truth of his strength. He told her 3 different lies, and she tried 3 different ways to bound him up so that he could be captured. And he broke free each time. But still she persisted, and he finally told her that if you shave my head, I won't have my strength. So she shaved his head, and he was like every other man from that point on. And they captured him up until his last few moments of his life, when the Lord looked back down on him and smiled. Now, even when Samson slew all those men with the jawbone of an ass, it just amazes me that God, he cried out to God because he was thirsty. And God provided water inside of the jawbone of the ass for him to drink and replenish himself. That is amazing to me. It's right there with Noah talking to God, and right there with Moses talking and following the Lord through the wilderness. And oh, it's just so many awesome stories in the Bible. Hold on. Alright, I'm back. I want to try to stay on topic. I want to try to get my point across, which is to run from the temptations that will destroy you, that may destroy your family. I get a little bit personal here. When I was young, I was led astray by some ladies, and I've had a lot of life experience in that area. Well, when the Lord came to me and I changed my life around, trying to be a better man, that was one of the things that I had to stop. Well, I stopped to the point that some of my family and my friends began to have questions if I was even interested in women anymore, because I was raised to be a womanizer, to be a drunk, and to party all the time, and to throw caution to the wind, and so forth and so on. But the Lord showed me something more that I wanted out of life. He showed me someone so special. I hadn't even met her yet, but He showed her to me ahead of time. And that's what I wanted out of life. It was a whole way of living that I had never been taught. So I changed my life for God, and I wanted to do His will. And He brought my wife into my life. We dated off and on for 5 years. It took me that long to break my bad habits before I could get married and honestly say I would be able to be the husband that I needed to be. Until that point, I couldn't be trusted. I did not trust myself. And it's hard to say now, but I look back at my old life and some of the things and places I did, and I laugh, but at the same time, inside I cry, because it's like a nightmarish scenario repeating in my head over and over again. I've asked forgiveness, and I know the Lord has forgiven me for so many things, but I can't forget them. To forget them would be to forget part of me. All of those things that I went through in life are what makes me who I am today. If I would have ran from temptation early in life, I would have been a lot further down this path. Now, those 5 years were such a purifying period for me. I started drinking and smoking at 10 years old. I really started smoking hard by 12. I got my first vehicle around 13-ish. and I was driving around everywhere I could go. I basically did not have a curfew after I hit 12 years old. Once I started working, my parents pretty much turned me out. And look, I took full advantage of it. I sowed a lot of oats. I learned a lot of stuff. And I thank God that He came into my life. I was saved early in life, but I left the fray. I rebelled, and I wanted to do what basically my family had raised me to do. And I was living life and loving it, but I was always convicted, knowing I was doing wrong. And finally, some things happened in my life, and I decided I had to straighten them up. And I learned how to say no to myself, to deny myself certain sinful pleasures. And through doing that, I feel like I grew a lot. I feel like I became more of a man because I started really understanding myself and some of the motivations that I had. And I started focusing on some of the better aspects of life, and I started pushing away those aspects of life that were bringing me down. And y'all, if you're doing things and you even think they're bringing you down, push them to the side, because there's a whole lot better, a whole lot brighter life out there. Put down those things, run from temptation, and find the brighter, better side of life. It's out there. I promise you, it's out there. Because I was there. I was in the dark place. I could have been dead by now, but the good Lord has seen fit to keep me alive. I've been shot at. I've been beat with pool cues, 2x4s. I've been through the ringer before, you know. And like I say, it's just a wonder that the good Lord has kept me here this long. And just going back, talking about how these men were led astray by the sins of the flesh is just a cornerstone of what goes on inside of each of us. We are all sinners. We have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And you can sit there and say, oh, I'm too bad to be saved. You're not too bad to be saved. God can save anyone that wants to be saved. If you call upon the name of the Lord, He will come in you, and He will change you, and you will have a brighter, better life and a wonderful eternity ahead of you. Eternity, that's forever. This life is a drop in the bucket. It's minuscule. It really don't mean anything. And the devil tricks us into thinking that so much in this life matters. Who's going to be president? What country will survive? What country will fall away? What plants grow in your garden? This whole earth will be destroyed. Everything's going to be destroyed and rebuilt after the millennial reign of Jesus Christ. God will come back and He will destroy everything, and He will rebuild better and brighter than ever. It's all in the Bible. Get the book. Read the book. You don't want to believe me? You don't want to believe other preachers? Hey, there's the Bible. That is the roadmap for life. You don't have to listen to others. You get in that Bible and you study it, and it can help you learn so much about what's the truth and how to live your life and who to really listen to. Because a lot of people don't want you to get in that book. They want to lead you astray, and those are the people that you have to watch out for. If people are teaching you things that are not biblically based, run away. Get away from them. Run away from them faster than you would running away from the temptations of the sinful pleasures of this life. So I'm going to let y'all go there. God bless each and every one of you, and I'll catch you on the next ride.